The film opens in Florida, at a modest cafe where a young woman named Lisa works. She is remarkable. She treats every customer with genuine kindness. Her manager is delighted with her performance. But after her shift, as she begins her journey home, the mask slips. We see a profound sadness, a flicker of genuine fear etched across her face. For most, the journey home is a comfort. But for Lisa, it is a descent into hell. As she travels, her mind wanders to the horrors she has endured. She thinks of a man, a shadow that enters a room. We shall soon discover who this man truly is. Suddenly, on a desolate stretch of road, Lisa spots a black car. Panic takes hold. She pedals her bicycle with desperate speed, racing away from the vehicle, straight toward her front door. But this is not Lisa's home. Not truly. She lives with her grandmother and her grandmother's friend. This man is the very same shadow from Lisa's nightmares. He provides her grandmother with money, and in return, he is granted access to Lisa's room every single night. He treats her with utter cruelty. One day, Lisa can take no more. She sits down and pens a suicide note, but the weight of it is too much. She is simply too frightened to end her life. The following day, Lisa reaches out to her sister, who lives safely with her mother. Lisa reaches out to her mother. She tells her, with a breaking heart, that she cannot live there a moment longer. She confesses everything. The shadows, the man, the nights of absolute terror. But her mother's response is a cold blade. No matter what happens, she says, you must remain there to care for your grandmother. Then, the line goes dead. It is a chilling revelation. Her mother, her own flesh and blood, already knew. She knew the price of that money, and she did not care for Lisa's agony. The poor girl's life is no longer a life. It is a sentence of prolonged torture. She is trapped, with no way out. But she has no idea that a far darker shadow is approaching. Something that will break her completely. One night, cycling back from the cafe, she sees it again. The same black car from the night before. This time, it isn't just passing. It begins to follow her. Lisa is frantic, watching the vehicle over her shoulder, when a hand, violent and sudden, grabs her from behind. She is kidnapped, forced into the car and subjected to the unthinkable. To hide his identity, the man forces a blindfold over her eyes. Lisa is paralyzed with fear. She has no idea where the road leads or what horrors await her at the end of it. He takes her to a desolate apartment, far beyond the city limits. There, the cruelty begins again. Lisa realizes, with a sickening certainty, that this man is a deranged psychopath. She has faced predators before, under her grandmother's roof, but now, the only goal is survival. She must escape at any cost. Meanwhile, when Lisa fails to return home, her grandmother finally raises the alarm. She goes to the police, and a missing persons investigation begins. The detectives first stop Lisa's mother's house. The detectives arrive at the mother's house, searching for answers. Her mother's response is a rehearsed lie. She tells them, with a shrug, that Lisa has likely run away with a boyfriend. The officers, satisfied with the explanation, begin to turn away, but Lisa's sister stops them, her voice trembling with the truth. She tells them, categorically, that Lisa would never run away. Something is terribly wrong. At the cafe, the story is the same. Her colleagues describe a girl who is reliable, hardworking, and kind. A girl with no reason to vanish. The scene shifts back to the apartment, a place of shadows. Even through the darkness of the blindfold, Lisa is fighting. She is observing. Every sound, every movement, is etched into her mind. When the man approaches her again, she attempts to speak, trying to find a crack in his psyche. She knows she is dealing with a deranged mind. In a moment of terrifying proximity, he unties her hands. Lisa remains perfectly still. She understands the lethal stakes. One wrong move, one breath out of place, and he will pull the trigger. He is a predator, and he is with her day and night. Slowly, meticulously, Lisa begins to leave a trail. She is a ghost leaving clues. She slides her hairpins from her hair, dropping them silently under the bed. When she is permitted to use a bathroom, she reaches out, pressing her fingerprints firmly against the glass of the mirror. She spots a pair of shoes in the corner. She memorizes every detail, the color, the logo, the wear, but her silence is her undoing. The man realizes she has been in the bathroom too long. He hears the click of the lock. He doesn't knock. He forces the door open and steps inside. In this moment of extreme peril, Lisa performs the role of her life. She acts perfectly normal. She creates a mask of affection, pretending that she truly cares for him. One night, while the house is heavy with the sound of his breathing, Lisa sneaks out. She has known from the very first day that a phone exists within these walls. But before the dial can even turn, he is there, a hand like a vice, grabbing her from the shadows. "You're trying to be clever, aren't you?" His voice growls. The air thickens with lethal rage. He prepares to end her life. But Lisa doesn't scream. She weeps. "I only wanted to check on my sick father." She sobs, the lie tasting like ash. "I wanted to tell him I was happy, that I was doing fine." She crumbles before him, a picture of pure, devastating grief. And for the first time, the monster feels a flicker of pity. He softens. He calms. In the silence that follows, Lisa hears her sister's voice echoing in her mind. No matter what happens, never give up. She leans into the madness. She looks at him and speaks with a terrifyingly gentle voice. If you let me go, I will tell no one. I will be your friend, gladly. I will never leave you. I will care for you, always. The psychopath is moved. He is captivated. He agrees to let her go. Meanwhile, the Florida police are drowning in a much larger horror. A serial killer has been stalking the state, leaving a trail of bodies over the last 6 months. The man watches the news. He sees a chaos. He realizes that with the police distracted by a monster even greater than himself, he can let Lisa walk away. She has never seen his face. She is a loose end he thinks he can tie with a promise. He drives her to a desolate, quiet location. But even here, the impulse to kill returns. He reaches for his weapon. He contemplates the finality of a bullet. But Lisa holds his gaze. I want to be your friend, she repeats, her voice a steady anchor in his storm. Please, let me take care of you. The madness recedes once more. He looks at her and gives her one final, chilling instruction. If the police ask, tell them I am dark, fat, and short. With that final, chilling instruction, he leaves Lisa in the wilderness and drives away. She runs. She runs until her lungs burn, finally reaching the safety of her grandmother's house. She gasps out the truth, the kidnapping, the apartment, the madman. But her luck is devastatingly cruel. Her grandmother doesn't believe a word of it. To her, it is a fantasy. She simply calls the police to report that the missing girl has returned. When the officers arrive, the skepticism continues. The inspector agrees to an interview, but the air in the room is thick with doubt. Lisa recounts a horror, step by agonizing step, but they look for physical proof where there is only psychological scarring. If you were attacked, they ask, cold and accusatory, why are there no marks on your body? They press her further. If your hands were free, why didn't you run? Why didn't you scream? Lisa's voice is a fragile thread. The man was utterly deranged. He had a gun. He threatened my life every second. I didn't fight because I chose to stay alive. But even this logic fails to move them. They dismiss her as an attention seeker. 2 female officers go so far as to mock her, suggesting she has been watching far too many television dramas, that she has simply scripted a perfect story. Lisa falls into a hollow, defeated silence. But there's a flicker of hope. At that very station, a specialized task force is drowning in a much larger shadow. They are hunting the serial killer who has claimed the lives of countless girls over the last 6 months. They have no evidence, no leads, and no way to stop the next murder. Observing Lisa's silence, a female officer finally senses the weight of her trauma. She asks a seasoned detective named Larry to step in. Larry approaches her, not with a notebook, but with a gentle heart. Lisa remains guarded, her trust shattered by the room. Larry reaches into his pocket and pulls out a photograph of his own daughter. He shows it to her, a silent promise of safety. He speaks softly, asking her to share the story once more, step by meticulous step. And finally, the floodgates open. Lisa begins to speak of the black car, the isolated apartment, and the distinctive red carpet that lined his floor. Lisa begins to recount the details, and they are chillingly precise. There are exactly 22 stairs. Inside his car, the words Magnum Loves are etched. The man is white, and he is left-handed. Larry listens, and he knows. This is no scripted fantasy. This is a survivor providing a map. But the darkness of Lisa's home life isn't finished with her yet. When the police call for permission to proceed, the grandmother's friend intercepts the line. He pretends to be Lisa's father, and he denies them. Larry is a seasoned detective. He senses a rot. Why? He wonders aloud. Would a father show such utter indifference to his daughter's trauma? He looks to Lisa for the truth. And finally, fueled by righteous anger, Lisa exposes a monster under her own roof. The police move with lethal speed. The friend is arrested, his reign of terror silenced. Now, the full weight of the Florida police is behind Lisa. Larry is haunted by the details. Every clue Lisa provided fits the profile of the serial killer they have been hunting for 6 months. He sends Lisa's clothing to the lab, and the report confirms his darkest suspicions. Caught in the fabric of her dress is a single red thread, identical to the fibers found on the bodies of the other victims. The kidnapper is a killer. Larry takes Lisa back to the desolate spot where she was released. She settles into the car and closes her eyes, recreating the journey in her mind, feeling every turn, every bump in the road. They scrub through the footage of local petrol stations until they find him. The man in the video is a mirror image of the sketch Lisa provided. His face is now plastered across every wall in the state. The breakthrough comes when a female officer spots him. She plays it brilliantly, approaching him with a calm, professional mask. She tells him there's a report of a stolen vehicle, and she needs to photograph his car. It's a clever ruse. She isn't interested in the metal. She's capturing the face of a murderer. Lisa sees a photo. The recognition is instant. That's him. The police storm the apartment. They find the 22 stairs. They find the hairpins hidden beneath the bed, and the fingerprints press against the bathroom mirror. The physical evidence is insurmountable. A massive manhunt is launched, and finally, they spot him, walking in the open air, thinking he is still a ghost. Police officers descend from every direction, their weapons drawn, their focus absolute. In the cold light of day, the dangerous predator is finally in chains, and it was all, every bit of it, thanks to Lisa. When Larry delivers the news, the station erupts. The very same officers who once mocked her now stand in silence before breaking into applause. They salute her for her bravery, for her brilliance, and for the justice she has secured, not just for herself, but for the countless girls who can no longer speak. By catching this monster, she has personally halted a legacy of blood. But Lisa cannot go back. She will not return to the house that was her living hell. Larry reaches out to her aunt and uncle, bringing them into the light of the truth. When they see her, broken but unbowed, her aunt is overcome with remorse. She confesses she had no idea of the horrors occurring under that roof. She looks at Larry and makes a solemn vow. Lisa is our responsibility now. We will give her the life she deserves. Larry, the man who listened when no one else would, offers a final, silent nod of gratitude. He says his goodbyes, walking away with a heart heavy with the weight of what he has seen, but lightened by the victory they shared. Some time later, Lisa sits down to write one final letter. It is addressed to her mother. Mother, it begins, "You always said I could not live a good life, that I didn't deserve one. But you were wrong. You were a terrible mother." She signs it and writes two final words, "Goodbye forever." Only then does the weight of her betrayal truly hit her mother. But for Lisa, the past is a closed book. She has found the family she craved, and the love she was always denied. She is whole. Years pass, and we see Lisa once more. She is no longer the girl on the bicycle, fleeing into the shadows. She is a police officer. She wears a uniform with a quiet, fierce pride. She is the woman who never gave up, the one who fought until the very end. Because she suffered so much, she has dedicated her life to ensuring others do not have to. She is the shield. She is the hope. And with her standing guard, the story concludes.